A video has been going around on social media this week called Plandemic. It was posted on YouTube, it was posted on Facebook, and lots of people are sharing it. You've probably seen it on your timeline. And if you're like me, your response is utter disgust and horror. But if you're like some other people, you may be easily swayed into thinking that COVID-19 and the entire global pandemic that we're living through right now is something that was engineered by the very people who are tasked with stopping it. This video comes from a California production company called Elevate. They have over 30,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I hope I don't know any of those people. The video was billed as part one of a more full-length documentary, but it's 26 minutes of an interview with a conspiracy theorist / disgraced former researcher named Dr. Judy Mikovits. She was kind of famous in the late 2000s for her research on chronic fatigue syndrome, and she published a paper in a well-known medical journal about that research, and it got to the point where the findings and the paper had to be pulled and officially retracted by the medical journal because it was determined that she fabricated the evidence that supported the report. So once she was disgraced, once the work was discredited, she was fired by the institute that had been employing her. And ever since then, she has been on a misinformation campaign to talk about how the government is trying to silence her research. She's also been outspoken among anti-vaccination activists as well. So I don't really need to go into every single point about how absolutely stupid this is, but what really bothers me is how many people have been persuaded by it. I have engaged in a number of particularly heated conversations with friends of mine and people I know, even people in my own family, who have shared it and said, what do you think about this? And there's a serious problem with doing that. And they say that no knowledge is bad, and I don't disagree with that. But the problem is when you post videos that spread misinformation, you're actually causing that to increase. That's pretty obvious, right? The more people that share it, the more people that see it. But when you share something on Facebook, you're essentially saying, I support and or endorse this. And if friends in your social circle generally believe in you and the things that you say, that's going to give additional credence to the claim because you're essentially saying you endorse it. Now, it's one thing to look at the pandemic or social issues or, issues of strata and whatnot with a discerning eye. But this video plays into all of the worst tropes about the government is lying to you. These are the things they don't want you to see. Wake up, sheeple, all of that kind of stuff. Every time I see a statement like that, I have to essentially immediately discredit the person who says it because it plays on a trope where no facts are mentioned at all, and reality is twisted to whatever degree necessary to suit their narrative. The whole concept of the government is lying to you and don't believe everything you read and don't believe experts, that's horse shit. I'm sorry. It's just absolute horse shit. You can't possibly be this stupid. Do governments lie to people? Yes. Has the U.S. government lied to people? Yes, absolutely. Have they covered up things in the past? Yes, they absolutely have. But that doesn't necessarily by default apply to everything. Why? Because you need evidence to support a claim like that. I've had people tell me, well, medical journals can be faked as well, and those people can lie, and all these other people can lie. And what's so strange to me is that people are more inclined to believe someone with no credentials and no proof than they are people with the complete opposite, with mountains of proof and lots of disconnected, verified facts that are disparate from each other that support the truth of what's happening. Peer-reviewed medical journals go through multiple levels of vetting using outside scientists that are unconnected to each other to eliminate bias and discover truth. Hey kids, that's the fucking purpose of science. I had another person tell me, Snopes can't be trusted either. They're not a source. Snopes is not a source. They are a resource. That's a big difference. They don't make determinations for themselves. They make determinations based on credible evidence. And then they say, here is the conclusion based on all of this supporting credible evidence. You know, it's one thing to judge things for yourself. It's another to question absolutely everything except for the vocal minority of people who don't have any evidence to support their claims. You can pick and choose what you want to believe, but to deny sources that present verifiable facts and accept sources that present discredited nonsense that's proven to be false and misleading is just fucking downright loony. Now, if you were intrigued by this, if you watched the video, if you liked what it had to say, am I saying you're a stupid person? No, but you're gullible because you're falling for misleading bullshit without thinking critically. Yes, you should do your own research, but that also means learning the difference between those who are trying to inform you and educate you and those who are trying to sell you something. This woman has latched onto the COVID-19 pandemic as a way of trying to sell a book that she has published. She lied about the reason she was arrested. She lied about not being anti-vaccination. She lied about the source and cause of the virus. She lied about the financial motivation of doctors to diagnose the virus in large numbers. And she lied about being injected with coronaviruses. She also lied about the idea that masks cause the virus. I can't make something up that's any dumber than this is. It's insane. So for God's sake, it's so idiotic that it's hard to address logically and without just kind of laughing at people. This video ended up being taken down by YouTube, and so now there's this sort of YouTube whack-a-mole where other people are posting it, then it gets taken down, and then someone else posts it, etc. And people are using the fact that this video is being taken down as evidence of their cause. See, the government doesn't want you to hear it. That's trash. The reason these videos get taken down is because they present ridiculous information that could get people killed. Saying things like masks cause the virus is insane, and it has a significant potential to get more people sick. The more people that get sick, the more people will die. It's irresponsible to public health to allow your platform to be a haven for dangerous bullshit. And before you say, what about free speech? No one's right to free speech is being withheld. You have the right to make speech. What YouTube is doing by taking down a video is saying, yeah, you can say that shit, but you can't say it in my house. And that is their right as the people who own the house. The producers of the video and fans of theirs or whatever, more than welcome to put the video up on their own platforms and have discussions around it. But YouTube and other platforms like them are under no obligation to host content that will endanger public health. That's really what it comes down to. And if you want to view everything from the lens of they're suppressing the truth or the government is lying, that's what's called a persecution complex. It's the same thing the subject of this video is guilty of. Rather than admit that she falsified records and then stole them and accept responsibility for making her mistake, she's turned it into a narrative of the man is trying to stop me for the sake of selling books. For fuck's sake, people, if you buy into that nonsense, I have a bridge to sell you. Know when you're being conned. Know when someone's trying to sell you on something. Learn to tell the difference between well-researched facts and evidence and bullshit. Be vigilant, but don't live in fear.